What's up guys, it's Tech Prime here, and today I'm going to be doing a basic KDE Plasma pricing guide. Now this tutorial is for beginners, so we're not going to be doing anything complex like config files. We're mostly going to be using the system settings and the edit mode. And I'll also leave some helpful links in the description to get inspired, as well as a good head start for beginners. Now in this video, I'm going to be using Arch Linux, but this should be the exact same thing for any Linux distro using KDE Plasma 6. Now this is a no BS video, so I'm going to make this as easy and short as possible. Now let's get on with the video then, shall we? Now as you guys can see, I completely reset my environment. This is because this video is going to be assuming that you either just install KDE or that you completely reset it. So this will be completely from scratch. Now here's the 3 base steps. Number 1 is figuring out your panel scheme. Whether it be Windows or Mac OS or something completely new, you're going to have to figure out how you're going to access your system as well as your task manager. In this case, I want it to be like Mac OS, with a primary bar on the top and a task manager on the bottom. Number 2 is colors. In this case, it could be 2, 3, or 4, but we're going to go for black and red because I think those mix really well. And finally, number 3 is the era you want it to look like. Do you want it to be Fruitiger Aero? Do you want it to be Y2K? Do you want it to be modern? Or something completely new? Now in this case, I wanted to mix Fruitiger Aero with modern aesthetics. So something like Windows 7. So your setup might be completely different. But again, this is a beginner's guide, so we'll cover everything. So our first step, go to the system settings, go into colors and theme. And for now, I'm going to choose Breeze Dark and apply. And this will make our system look a bit nicer. If we don't like this kind of black, we can either get new or we can make our own. But in this case, we're just going to get new. But in this case, I like this kind of dark. So we're going to click install and give it a second. And once it's installed, we can close this, select it down here, and then hit apply. And you should immediately see it changing. Now we're going to go to application style. And we can choose either of these 4. But if you're an advanced user, click this and get new. But we're going to make this simple. So in this case, I want it to be Fruitiger Aero. So we're going to choose oxygen and then hit apply. Now, as you can see, some buttons became a bit more glossy and have a bit of a blue glow. So now we're going to go to plasma style. So apps like the K text editor, Kdenlive, and Kwave are going to be affected by this. So in this case, oxygen, hit apply. So now if I open something like Kdenlive, we should immediately see the difference. So now when I open Kdenlive, which is my video editor, it should look completely different. And we can already see the glossy change about my panel. Now we're going to go to window decorations. Now I did not reset it, so this will be very different. But we will click get new. And then just kind of look around a little bit. So when you find something you like, you click install and then give it a second. And then you find it somewhere here. So right here. And then hit apply. And you should immediately see the difference. But in this case, I don't want the blue. So I'm just going to choose another one. So for example, black class. It looks similar, but it's black. Now if you don't like the icons being too small, you just click this little pen. And then under button size, you change it. So in this case, very large. And now it looks exactly like 10 blue, but if it was black. Now for icons, you're going to click get new and choose whichever one you like. But I already installed the one I want, which is Coral Light. And then hit apply. And your icons should change down here. Now if your application launcher icon is missing, that's pretty much an issue with Cora or whichever theme you got, so we're going to be fixing that later. Now for cursors, you can either get new or you can install it from file, but we're just going to get new and then just kind of find whichever one you'd like. In this case, I like these because they're really simple and they have a high rating, so we're going to click install. And in this case, we're going to choose this one because we're going for black and red. And now that it's installed, I click on it, I hit apply, and my cursor should automatically change. Now for system sounds, so Ocean sounds pretty much basic. Free desktop is, well, free desktop. It's missing some sounds. Or you have the Fruitiger Aero Oxygen, which is actually used on the Steam Deck. Now I can click any of these to preview the sounds, but I'm not going to do that. So hit apply. Now for splash screen, this is what's going to happen whenever you launch KDE Plasma. This only works on Wayland, by the way. So if you use X11, it's not going to work. So you can choose either these 2 or you can get new, which is what I'm going to do. And since I use Arch Linux, I'm going to get the first one. Click install. And you can preview it with this little play button. And it's just going to do it. So now if you want to stop previewing it, you hit escape. And it's going to turn it off. And make sure to hit apply. Now, I don't use SDDM, so it doesn't matter to me. But if you use SDDM, it should be pretty much like every single other thing. So now once you're done picking out your system style, you're going to have to change the wallpaper, because this is what you're going to be staring at all day long. Now, of course, I'm not going to tell you how you can find it, since this is your own device, so you're going to have to figure out how to do it. So this step is the only one that you're going to have to do on your own. Now, of course, KDE already has some great ones, like, for example, this one right here. Oh, that looks nice. So we're going to actually, I can just kind of look through these, because they're all great already. Or you can just click get new. Now, for the sake of simplicity, I'm going to keep it with this one. So now that you got your wallpaper, we're going to have to configure the panels. So like I said, we want a good top panel and then a task manager on the bottom. So we're going to go into edit mode, and then we're going to click on our panel, and then we're going to click position, set position, and we're going to click up here. So now we have a panel on top. Now we're going to have to add one on the bottom. So add panel, and we're actually going to add an empty panel. Now click add widget and add an icons only task manager. So right there, and then click it once. And I just have an icons only task manager down there. Now of course I don't like how small it is, so we're going to size it up. Now this setting you can change however you'd like, but for the simplicity I'm just going to set it to dodge windows. So every single time that I hover a window over it, it's going to hide itself. So now we can remove the icons only task manager here. Now as you can see, everything just moved to the left, which we don't want. So we're actually going to add a spacer and then just kind of awkwardly move it over there. And now our system tray should be back where it was, as well as all of our other widgets. So now we can exit edit mode right there, and we should have a pretty full desktop. So now just kind of open some app, hover them around, and see if you like it. So now when my panel stays, I kind of hover an app over and it hides. And then I can manually open it up, and it's going to auto hide. Nice. However, we have this whole left corner that's just kind of empty, and we want functionality. So we'll go back to edit mode, and then click the panel, add or manage widgets, and I just kind of pick out whatever you'd like. So for example, if you're on our laptop, you could add this, but we're not going to do that. If you have a printer, you could add this, and if you want to access your trash can, you can do it with this, which I'm actually going to add. And then we can just pick out some more widgets. So in this case, I'm going to add some of these because I actually need them. And you absolutely need notifications because without it, some apps might not work. So we're going to go ahead and add that. Now, if you're using the same icon pack as me, you might notice that your application launcher was actually hidden all along. So click configure, and you can actually change the icon manually. So click, choose, and then search for whatever you'd like. So in this case, Arch. Right there, and I'm going to click apply and then cancel, and there we go, my icon is back. And there we go, that's our basic guide to KDE Plasma. Now if you'd like it to look a bit more fancy, you can make it float. You can also change the opacity, you can change the icon alignment, and you can also change its width as well as visibility, or you can just clone the panel and set it somewhere else. Now I should also mention that if you add widgets, you can actually add some of them directly on your desktop. So for example, an analog clock or a calendar, or even a clipboard, and it should work perfectly fine. And there you go, that's it. This was a beginner's guide to KDE Plasma Rising, and I hope I was educational and simple. And that's about it. Now, of course, I'm not going to leave you sitting here all day thinking about how you should make your system look. So in the description of the video, I'm going to leave some helpful tips, as well as ways to get inspired. And I'm also going to give you some motivation. But other than that, you should be all set and ready to go. So good luck customizing KDE. Tech Prime out.